Female dogs.
Damn it.
Oh, God damn it, GX.
You'll know
Why
what
do you
to
hate
find.
us?
It's a nice long thing. It's a nice
Okay.
loud statement. I don't care.
Let's try this one more time.
That is what
3,
she said.
Episode of the Sonic Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Knuckles87. With me today is my co-host, Jason Barry. This is going to be a big episode because it's the Big 2-5, and so we've got 3 guests with us today. Now, all of you already know GX Echidna. Say hi, GX.
3 1/4 hours until briefly default, but who's counting?
And both Jason Barry and myself have also brought a special friend. I have brought Sega, or Ben, or Shadow Legend.
You got it.
An old friend whom I've known for 10, 12 years on the Sega forums. And
through the forums, our forum personalities have argued for many years.
Oh God, yes, I remember our Sonic Heroes arguments with great contempt and hatred. And,
for sure.
In fact, he impressed me so much that I nominated him for SegaBix, and now he's a writer on SegaBix. So,
yep.
So, Sega, introduce yourself real quick.
I am Sega, aka Ben, aka Shadow Legend, as he's just very wisely introduced, and I am finally on another Sonic Talk.
You were also on Gauntlet Legend. You were also Gauntlet Legends for a time, as I recall. Really
for
shitty
a time,
game
yes.
From what I've played, I don't know why you named yourself after that.
Because it's the shit. But yeah, you probably should introduce your other friend.
Yes,
or Shig's
Jason
friend.
Barry, introduce your friend.
This is our friend from the Sonic SoCal. We get together at meetups and stuff, and we're hoping to host the Sonic Revolution in Anaheim in mid-June. And his name is Tanner Bates. Say hi, Tanner.
Hello.
What up?
So, Tanner, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Basically, I usually go by Ogilvy on any of the various fan sites, and I basically serve as Sonic Revolution's PR guy. It's basically my job to get in touch with people, promote the events, help people set up events, and overall to just try and make sure that everyone knows about everything that's going on.
Excellent. Okay, now we're recording this right after, well, not right after, but several hours after the big reveal for Sonic Boom, which it turns out it's not just a television show, it's going to be this multimedia franchise. But I guess before we get into that, though, we should talk about what we're playing. So I guess since I'm the host, I will go first. Perks of hosting. So now, as I hope all of you are aware of, SegaBix is running a Year of the Sega console. And so I have foregone all of my shiny HD next generation gaming consoles and also this thing called a Wii U, and I have gone back into the 90s, and so I've been playing lots of Dreamcast and Sega Saturn and Sega Genesis and 32X and Game Gear, all this stuff.
Listening to boy bands.
Yes, and listening to boy bands. Oh my God, and Twisted Sister. I love Twisted Sister and Billy Joel. Oh, Billy, don't ever
Limp
get old.
Bizkit.
Yeah,
Linkin Park.
I love Linkin. Oh God, Linkin Park is shit. I hate Linkin Park. So I've been playing Phantasy Star 4. I've been playing. I guess last night I played this Dreamcast import called Napple which is this 3D platform that was only released in Japan. And on the Sega Saturn, I've been playing. I've been playing Sky Target and Stella. I've just been all over the place with this stuff. Oh, and on the Dreamcast, I've also been playing Stormwind. For those of you who don't know, Stormwind is this excellent, surprisingly good 2D spaceship shooter released last year by Red Spot Games. Beautiful looking game. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I've also, in terms of modern gaming, I've been trying to catch up. I've been trying to restore my Street Passes and my Street Pass content that I lost when I unwisely sent my 3DS to Nintendo for repair, and they wiped my 3 years worth of Street Pass content, and that's why I don't think fondly of them anymore. That was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of my relationship
Camels
with
have
them.
backs.
Yeah.
I'm yearning
So
for the tiny violin right now.
Yeah, oh, shut up. I know you don't care. But I care. I had some awesome
Yeah, but that
moves
was
on
not.
on that
I
3DS.
gotta agree, that's not Nintendo's fault. You may have lost the data beforehand. It was
No,
broken.
my 3DS was working fine. I guess the cartridge slot wasn't working. That was the only issue. And so, it's all Nintendo.
Well, that's why we need an account system instead of tying it to the hardware.
That's why we need a parade channel for 3DS.
Yeah. Before we get into all this, though, we gotta move on to how about let's change things up a little. Tanner, what have you been playing?
I've been playing mostly Insomniac games. I go figure, my sleep schedule's been messed up a lot recently, but mostly I've been alternating Ratchet and Clank with classic Spyro games. I've actually
awesome.
I've actually never played the Spyro games before until now.
Really?
But I'm
Now,
catching up.
I hear you don't have to buy figures for those ones. How does that work?
Awesome, definitely awesome.
I miss old Spyro.
Which Ratchet and Clank are you playing right now?
Into the Nexus, the newest one.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
Man,
I finished that
before I can play that, I gotta finish the one before that, Cracked in Time. I was all into that last year, and then I got stopped. So, Sega, what have you been playing? Sega, by the way, stands for Nintendo Sega. Yes.
That it does. And what have I been playing? The two games couldn't really be any more different. I finished Mario 3D World for the Wii U, that game, which was better than I thought it would be. It's not as shitty as 3D Land. It's actually really good and really fun. And it's you could tell that it's one of those things where, like, when Nintendo actually puts work into it and actually puts in effort, they can make a really good 3D. They can make a good Mario game. I don't think their past couple have been as good. But this was pretty awesome. I definitely recommend it if you have a Wii U and you're not playing anything else, so you might as well give it a try if you're a Wii U owner. And then Grand Theft Auto 5, which I'm kind of disappointed by, and I'm a huge GTA fan, but the characters in the story I think are kind of not up to. They're not as good as.
Yeah, I actually
been,
quit
so.
playing that because I just couldn't sympathize or relate to any of the characters. They're all pretty much assholes.
Yeah, and it's bad enough that like they're assholes, and then there's three of them, so you can't even really focus on one because it just continually shifts to different ones.
I think you're describing a porn.
Yeah, well, that could
consistently shifting between assholes.
This would. Okay. Yeah, but this is. What's the word I'm looking for? No, it's not a terrible game. It's just not not as good as I'd hoped it would be. I'm still playing it though. It's decent, and I would never ever watch that porn. Just so as you know.
Oh, he loves his porn and his pot. Don't believe what he says on
Grand Theft Auto is its own XXX parody.
And
it is.
And GX, what have you been up to?
I would say I've been, in big quotation marks, playing Wii Fit U. That is to say that my parents finally sent my Wii Fit board up to my new abode just last night, so I have been able to sync my little pedometer and get my free version of the game. Again, big air quotes, free with the pedometer. But it's nice. I like having the little pedometer with it. It's a very nice pedometer. I mean, it was nice whenever it was the Pokewalker, and it is exactly the Pokewalker with a little bit better software. But I've been trying to get my steps in there. But more than anything, I put some time into Guacamelee on Steam the past weekend. It was just kind of my weekend of, hey, I want to play something. Hey, this is something that I haven't played yet. And I played it. I'm not really a big modding fan. Like, I don't really delve into any sort of modding community or anything like that. But in the Steam Workshop, there is a Samus skin for the female character in that game. And honestly, I don't know how to play that game any other way, because it is so Metroid to begin with. It's like, okay, she doesn't shoot, everything is melee based, but you know what? It just feels right to play this game as Samus, even though it's this crazy cartoonified El Dia de los Muertos Mexico. It's like, I don't know, it just feels right.
Why can't PlayStation get mods? That's the one thing.
Because they're a closed system, and because as soon as you open up mods, it makes it a lot easier to pirate stuff.
I know. It was a hypothetical question. Sort of.
I think you meant rhetorical.
Okay. Rhetorical, whatever. Okay, Jason. Jason, we can't forget about you, Jason. What have you been up to?
I have just finished The Legend of Zelda: The Link Between Worlds, a.k.a. probably the best Zelda game I ever played. I absolutely loved it. One thing that always bugged me with the Zelda ones is they felt kind of stretched out at times. They're always either, when you weren't in a dungeon, you were going on a fetch quest to get an item that you needed for the dungeon, and it became a long, thing. And here you just have this guy named Rovio who's a salesman, and he'll just either rent or sell you the items you need for the dungeon. So it made it a lot more fast-paced. It's still like over 10 hours long to play, but it made it more fast-paced. The dungeons themselves are fun. The painting mechanic comes in great, and that's actually a blast to play. And that's another thing, is that usually for Zelda games, they're like interesting or intriguing to play, but they've never been like that much fun. And this one is just absolutely fun, and the story was great. The plot twist near the end was fantastic, and so I just really enjoyed it all overall. I think this is probably my favorite Zelda game. The only game I just downloaded but I haven't been playing in fear of it is Outlast on the PS4, and that's the survival horror game that I heard is super scary. I haven't touched that one yet. Only other thing I've been doing is, of course, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, some more on the PS4, because I just absolutely love that game. And
I just got bored with that.
Really? I love it. I can't get enough of that one. And I'm playing Sonic Unleashed on Wii for an article thing.
Ooh.
Or Genesis mod, obviously.
Worlds, but I think I'm going to get...
Pardon?
Bravely Default instead.
I'm not a traditional Japanese RPG guy, so Bravely Default, I've tried the demo and it just didn't appeal to me that much.
The irony is that I don't consider I don't consider myself one either. Like, if something doesn't have a good interface to it, like, I am out the door. But for some reason this one just grabbed me, and I think it's just because of the risk-reward mechanic of the whole Brave Point system.
Yeah, I tried that, and I don't know, it just didn't sit that well with me. But I mean, Pokemon doesn't sit that well with me, and that's just my thing, I guess. And what's interesting, as far as speaking of Japanese RPGs, I went ahead and tried the demo of Final Fantasy XIII Lightning's Returns just for the heck of it. Although I've never liked a single game in that particular series, and I kind of like the combat in this one. I think it's actually pretty enjoyable, because it's all real-time action, and you keep switching. You got 3 different costumes you switch between. That switches your jobs and changes what kind of damage or defense you have.
Yeah, I kind of heard that. It sounds like is it like having multiple characters, but having multiple characters be the same character?
Pretty much, yeah. And you can get all new costumes for Lightning. I guess if you pre-order the game, you get Lightning as Cloud as one of the costumes. and every time she switches every time she switches her costume, it changes her job and her abilities. And you could all you have to do is press the L or R buttons, and it constantly switches.
What is
Hey,
Cloud's
Ben?
job?
10-2 did
I
that.
have
Final
no
Fantasy
idea.
10-2 had the
He has
dress
a giant
spears,
sword and he slices people with it.
That's not a job.
too.
Yes, it's a job.
Yeah,
No, it's
it's a
not.
career. It's a life choice.
Hey, Cloud made a career out of slicing things up with his big ass sword.
Well, you could probably
Ben,
say
I
Cloud made a
have
lot
a
of life
question.
choices too.
Have you ever played Final Fantasy 13 too?
I played 13-2. I thought the sequels were totally unnecessary, but I did like 13. I thought 13 was actually a lot of
13
fun.
bored the hell out of me because
But it wasn't.
I could literally
yeah.
press
I
the X
get-
button over and over and over again. That's all I would have to do to play that game. On certain,
I get the
I have
hate.
yet
I
to have
totally don't get me wrong. Go ahead, Knuckles.
No, go on.
Or not. All right. So polite. No, I totally get the hate 13 got, but I enjoyed it. 13-2 was okay to me, but I think 13-3 or Lightning thing is just overkill in my opinion, even though it looks different.
Looks actually kind of fun.
I'm sure it is. It's a good combat
the
system.
Final Fantasy that I'm hoping will finally turn me on to the series, because I've tried 10 and I own 13. Neither game grabbed me, but I'm hoping that 15
Dang.
will finally be the one. 15.
You should try Final Fantasy 9 if you haven't.
Yeah,
yet.
that does
That's a good
look
one.
interesting. That plus it's on PSN. Anyway, we're way off track here. So yeah, so okay, that's what we've been playing. So now, of course, big news: Sonic Boom. We finally know what it is. Reception across the community has been kind of mixed, which is no surprise. Because, fans don't like things that are different.
Because it's
I
Sonic.
think they're-
originally,
There definitely is.
last night the poster said it was a new renaissance of Sonic, and people were worried that these redesigns are going to be the permanent way they're going to look throughout the whole franchise. In both the Japanese games and in America, and then that's not true. It's kind of its own separate thing.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the redesigns. So, because that's probably the most controversial aspect of this whole thing. Even though it's not permanent, it's still a lot of people. It seems to be either like it or you absolutely loathe the designs. And certainly, I think I personally, by and large, I mean, I don't know. I don't personally believe I have the best taste in terms of character design. I have like an artist who does that for me. But in my personal opinion, I like most of the designs. I hate Knuckles, but I think everybody hates Knuckles because
I don't hate Knuckles.
He just looks okay.
I don't hate
GX.
I don't hate Knuckles either, and I'll give you an explanation why in a bit.
Okay. Well, I dislike Knuckles. I guess because I'm a horrible Knuckles fanboy. Because I don't know. I mean, it's like they just took his head and they stuck it on this huge, weirdly proportioned body.
I'll agree to that a bit.
It's something I might get used to.
I think the 2D art, the concept art of that, comes off a lot better than the actual 3D model.
Yeah.
Because I think it's badly proportioned.
Definitely, yeah. But I admit I don't hate the bandages. They're pointless, but I think that they do look kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of Bleach, and really kind of the whole look that the other characters have. It makes them look more like adventurers. They look more like adventurers, and
I don't know,
it's
the
weird
scarf
because this is
and
supposed to be
the scarf and the wrappings and everything. They look like some kind of desert steampunk thing, like out of an anime.
yeah, but I like that. I think it looks neat, but
I was
Go on.
the first time I looked and watched some of the trailers, the thought that really came in my mind was, given the proportions, given the way the characters look, given the accessories and stuff, it came off as a very European design to me.
Yeah.
And
this
sure
was
enough,
done
it
in
is
France,
actually
I think.
French. Like, the animation company is a French animation company, so it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, that kind of comes off the most in Eggman, because Eggman you're used to his fat egg body shape, and here He's got a very
Eggman looks kind of weird.
I like his like costume thing because it's kind of like a what do they call it, like a German aviators kind of thing where he's got it partially down, but it's still red and yellow. It's kind of like a mix of his both his classic and modern together. But his body shape is kind of off. He's got these really big, broad shoulders and chest, and then a slim waist. He doesn't have that egg shape, which makes him Eggman. And
when I first saw him, I thought, "Oh, hey, it's Joseph Stalin."
Yeah, I kind of got
that was my first thought.
It kind of does
to be fair, I mean, wasn't that the whole point?
Maybe that's what they're going.
Yeah, I do like his new design. I do kind of prefer his old design, but I think this new design is fine, and by and large, is not too.
I think they need to define the black goggles. I'm sorry. I think they need to define the black goggles on his eyes as actual goggles instead of just black eyes.
No, they are glasses.
I think what I can.
They are glasses.
I think what I can say about.
But you can't kind of tell. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
You can in certain parts, like you.
I keep interrupting, Alex.
Yeah, I can tell. I see that the little metal thing that connects the glasses over his nose bridge. I see it.
I'll have to watch
anyway,
it again.
The one thing I can say about the designs that I like is that they don't diverge too much away from the video game designs by and large. I mean, Robotnik still looks like Robotnik, Sonic still looks like Sonic, Tails pretty much looks like Tails with a tool belt. By and large, they're not drastic redesigns, but
I like the goggles on Tails.
Yeah, by and large, I like the new designs. I would not have been heartbroken if they became the canon designs, but I guess since so many other people are against that, it's probably for the best that they aren't. So, Sega, what do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Sonic kind of looks like.
You wrote this thing, this article on Sega Bix about the look of Sonic over years. Maybe you could tie this into that.
Dude, I don't even remember, but I do know that Sonic looks kind of like Nathan Drake, doesn't he? I don't know, like a Nathan Drake vibe from Sonic.
Yeah, I see.
It's kind of fitting that the video game is done by one of the guys from Uncharted.
Yeah, he looks like he could be his friggin' hedgehog sidekick or something. But no, I don't mind. I don't like Knuckles and I don't like Robotnik, but I actually like the other ones. I like Tails. I think he looks really like
pretty much.
I don't know what the word is, like adventurous.
Amy looks quite a bit tough.
Let's all pause for a second because I want us to savor the mental image of the next Uncharted with Nathan Drake's hedgehog sidekick.
They should do it.
Okay, we make
crossover.
Barry, I know you're listening to this. Photoshop that image. You can do it. I believe in you.
Make it our Sonic Talk header. Anywho, as far as like I was saying about the designs, the reason that I don't mind that much on Knuckles is when you look at the four of them put together, it's obvious they're doing it to show that you can instantly tell what each character is and what role they play, really. I mean, Sonic has the cocky look to him. He's got the scarf. It's obvious that he's like the hero or main character. Tails, he's got the wrench on him. He's got all this tool belt, the goggles. It's obvious he's the youngest one and he's a mechanic. Amy, she's got more of a tough look to her. She's got their hammer out and everything. She's giving like this lovey-dovey look to Sonic, so you can kind of tell where she's going. And then with Knuckles, you got to have they're showing that he's the big brawler and he's the super strong guy. And you can't really, that's something you can't really see when you look at Knuckles in the regular Sega Sonic Knuckles, because he's got those big noodle arms.
Big fists.
Well, he's got big fists, but tiny little noodle arms and a tiny body. Here he's more of a big burly brawler, and I think his knuckles are actually metal spikes this time that he wraps around his hand.
Huh.
Well, that actually kind of gets into one of the things that I like about it is the fact that they do actually look a bit more distinct than they do, because I'm not going to be the guy that says they are all the same in the thing, but Sonic Online Flash character creators exist for a reason, because they are kind of built from the same parts. And
Sega had
I'm just
an official one going for a while.
it's like I'm glad that they are at least a little bit more differently proportioned. Like, I like seeing them a bit more distinct in this sense.
One thing I heard not too long ago in regards to cartoon character designs is that you have to be able to tell which character is which by their silhouettes. And
now, you said that because I basically told you that.
Yeah, okay. There we go. You don't have to tell people that, man.
Should I explain this? Should I explain this?
Yes, you should explain it.
Okay. I follow
Since you were apparently the one who told me.
I follow a storyboard animator who also does a really cool podcast. Look him up. His name is TV's Kyle. He's awesome. He's currently doing some storyboard work on SpongeBob, and he has awesome music. But more to the point, he introduced me to a concept that I was previously unfamiliar with, but makes a lot of sense in hindsight. It is the concept of a character being recognizable by their silhouette. So if you take, for example, characters like the cast of Phineas and Ferb, you can instantly recognize them by their silhouette. You could say the same thing about The Simpsons. Very recognizable character design. For Sonic, you can if you are familiar enough with the cast, but you also have to be familiar enough with the cast. But mostly, I mean, like I said, a lot of them are built on very similar body types. They are very similar characters.
Hence why Knuckles has this particular brawny body type for change.
I honestly, I don't mind. I don't mind it. It's just, kind of like for Knuckles, it is just kind of the proportions.
I think it's more that when you first see it, it's so off-putting. You're not used to seeing, Knuckles' body on basically Thrash the Tasmanian Devil from the Archie comics.
I think based on what I've seen from some of the game footage, it's kind of like, it seems like something that you will get used to once you actually see it and play it and not focus on it. Because right now, like, we're in the introduction phase. Everyone's going to be focused on it, focused on every detail, focused on how it looks. And I kind of have to, my sister is an commercial artist major herself. So it basically what she summarized and what it kind of feels like is as accurate as it is. They just feel a little bit unfinished. Like they are missing like some sort of core unifying feature to just kind of bring them together and make them the solid, complete character. Like they at least need something, some small tweak, some small thing, but they're almost there, but just not quite.
I will say that
Sorry,
I found the original Sonic Adventure redesign to be very off-putting back in 1999, but I got used to it, and I'll probably get used to this too for as long as the TV series is around. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
Pac-Man.
I kind of dig the extra quills on Sonic to make him look more hedgehoggy. To say.
I do think the quills look nice.
I guess we should focus on the.
No.
Tanner, what do you think?
We need to get Tanner's thoughts.
I'll just start by saying that usually I'm not very much of a critic, so if I do criticize something, that usually means you did really badly. First off, like everyone else, I was kind of dreading the Knuckles reveal, and I don't think it's actually that bad. I mean, I was expecting something really horrible, but it's like, it's not that bad. What stuck out to me is the legs. It looks something like Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Their legs are so long.
Long.
They're
long,
so lanky.
Sexy Sonic legs.
I never noticed that.
I just creeped everyone out.
Penders actually said he looks like a Ron Lim design on his Twitter.
Penders is a poo-poo head.
There you go.
Hello?
And
Yeah. No. Don't worry. We're still here. You just failed.
Yeah, keep going, Tanner.
All right, we could always do a roll call.
and then the other thing that stuck out to me was the more I looked at it, the quill on the side of Sonic's head, it looks fine in the concept art, but in the actual animation, it looks pretty much to me like there's actually a small tentacle sticking out of his actual head. That's what it looks like to me, because it just doesn't look right. The more I look at that one clip that shows him, exchanging smack talk with Eggman, and it just It just didn't look right to me.
You know, though, that's the missing link, though, to how to sell it to the Japanese market.
Oh, God. Pretty much.
Oh, my God. Okay, do we get everybody's thoughts? Jason? Yeah?
Yeah,
we're good.
I think we should move on to the cartoon itself, since we've seen...
yeah, we should move on to the television series
show
itself. So, Jason, why don't you start us off with that?
I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's even with the designs, it shows a little bit of humor that actually works. With Sonic and Eggman riffing off each other, and then a little action adventure thing, and then ending on a cliffhanger. For a 3-minute clip, it actually really sells you on the cartoon.
Yeah,
it was
personally
incredibly watchable.
Yeah, I was surprised that this was actually quite watchable. I was hoping for something really good. I was expecting something along the lines of DreamWorks Dragons, or one of those like mediocre, boring to watch CGI crap shows that DreamWorks or Cartoon Network does. But this, I think the humor is at best okay, and what really sells it is the acting. Like, this is probably the best acting that we've had in a Sonic series in a long time, if not ever, which I think says a lot about the...
To be fair, this is the best Sonic voice actor we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I am a Satam fanboy, so I'm a little hesitant to say that Jaleel White is as good, but I like Jaleel White, and this is the first guy I've liked since Jaleel White. So, there. But I think that the acting kind of sells the humor where the script doesn't. Because, I don't know, the whole Eggman exchange, like, when I first heard it, I laughed, but then when I thought about the actual dialogue, I was like, that's really kind of juvenile and stupid, but they did it so well that it made me laugh anyway. And another thing that really surprised me about the clip, is that it had lots of action. I thought that the moment I heard comedy, I thought maybe at best Adventure Time, a regular show, but no, this actually isn't this is very much an action adventure kind of series. Albeit, I assume that, going by what we're reading about future episodes, there will still be some really quirky bits of humor. Like, apparently...
I was even going lower than that. Like, I was thinking Teen Titans Go level.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too, that would go to that. But, I mean, this is even less... it seems almost on the level, or maybe less as childish as
it destroys
the recent Sonic games.
Oh, yeah. It's much better than Sonic Lost World, which had that thing's tone was all over the place. But definitely Colors. I think this definitely reminds me of Colors. There's one episode apparently where Robotnik is going to take Sonic to court over what was it, damages or injuries, after he fails to get into a Villains Monthly magazine. So it's definitely going to have these weird, quirky stories. Yeah, Layer Monthly. So it's definitely going to have these weird, quirky stories. But it looks like it's also going to have plenty. It's also going to have plenty of action too. So
and that's something the comic book, pulls off well, is to have good action adventure, but still have lighthearted humor at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe not to this level.
What are your thoughts on on what we've seen so far?
Mine or whose? Whose did you say?
GX, you.
Mine. I mean, I like it. I am very much open to lots of different kinds of humor, especially I still like kids' humor. Like, I still love that kind of Ratchet and Clank type stuff, and to me, it's kind of what this came off as. Like, everything about this, between the look, the design, the feel. It came off as, hey, this is a PlayStation 2 era Sony property type thing. Which, I mean, hey, look at the connections. We've got the team that that produced Uncharted. Hey, for the 3DS version, we've got the crew that produced the fourth Sly game. It's like, jeez.
Yeah. That's some good quality.
Like I said, it just
developers.
Yes and no, but
what do you mean yes and no?
Well, I mean, it's not like Sans something. I don't remember their name. Didn't have a bunch of bad stuff in their back catalog, but ignoring that because I love Sly 4 so much, I think I am very excited. I am more excited about this than I have been about Sonic in a while.
Wow, that's impressive.
You know what? No, that's not entirely true. I think Transformed had me pretty darn excited.
Well,
but that, like we said before, though, definitely more than Lost Worlds. I am probably more accepting of the designs than most people. I think they at least breathe some new life. The only thing that I kind of don't like, on the completely opposite spectrum of Jason, is that I really kind of wish Sega just had the balls to say, yep, you know what? This is Sonic now. If you don't like it, too bad. And just, I kind of feel like we are at the point now in which they kind of do have to put some of the older stuff
I don't want that
back
at all.
a little bit. You know what? I love the nostalgia as much as the next person, but I kind of just want them to move forward. And part of this is because, hey, this game is not developed in Japan. This property is not developed in Japan. I've been calling for a Western-developed Sonic platformer for a long time. I'm really happy to see this. But it just... The fact that we are now split again, I was really hoping that this would, at the very least, herald in an era where Sonic at least has some unification and stability. And it just kind of went into Iizuka saying, no, we're still going to do our thing. I don't know, these Americans and Europeans, I don't know, they're going to do whatever. And I just like, This is the same issue we're running into with every Sonic cartoon. It's like nobody wants to invest in it.
Well, Sonic X didn't have that issue, but Sonic X was pretty mediocre.
Sonic X has its own issues, but I mean Sonic X.
Well, I'm just saying that came out of Japan, so that was. I would rather them have something a bit more unified and actually put their foot down and say something clear about Sonic, clearly establish Sonic, and just kind of, you know what? I love the nostalgia of Sonic, but you kind of have to abandon that after some.
Hey, I wouldn't mind
Sonic
a reboot of Sonic
series.
as long as it's done, correctly. And I don't think this is quite it.
That's another thing. Like, I want to let's drop this whole multiverse concept. I know that they've had 5 billion cartoons. I know that the comic series is still running. But honestly, I mean, why do we need this multiverse crap? I mean, they've tried to reboot it so many times. I just want them to pick something and stick with it, for God's sakes. I don't know.
Tanner,
Sega's so wishy-washy about this stuff. I'm sure they are so wishy-washy about it because there is no consensus. I don't know. I wish Sega as a company was more unified in supporting this, because I think it's not half bad, and I think it's something that they really could work to refine and move forward with and just kind of reestablish some outside faith in Sonic. Because, I mean, I want people to like Sonic and think of Sonic in a better light than they do, and Sonic is still the butt of everyone's joke, of the industry, of every industry joke. And I just kind of want them to find some way to pull themselves out of that. And I think a good, strong reboot, maybe not necessarily exactly like this, but a more refined version of this is what Sonic needs.
I don't have much to say to that.
All right, well, I guess I'll I'll just.
Yeah,
I mean, well, they're probably gonna. Yeah, they're probably gonna wait and see how it's received before they decide whether they're gonna move forward with it or not. But I think it looks good. I actually think the game looks kind of cool. But I've kind of been wanting this type of Sonic game. I didn't think Lost World looked very appealing to me before it came out, and I think this looks better. It looks more fun. But I can see why purists are not. It's not what we're expecting from Sonic. The character I don't know. What else am I thinking here? It looks like it's going to be a fun, new kind of experience, and I think that's what he needs. So I think it'll be kind of cool to see if it's any good or not.
Are you going to watch it?
I kind of...
I don't know if I'll watch... Who knows if I'll watch it, but I'll definitely play the game. I don't know about the show. It depends.
And Tanner,
the humor looks like the new games.
Overall,
consider that a good thing or a bad thing, though?
It could be a little of both, to be totally honest. I would say it's a bit of each. The games are funny, but would I watch a whole cartoon series with that humor? I don't know. Maybe. I would maybe try it. I can't guarantee I would like it, though.
So
I think Tanner can give his opinion.
Yeah, Tanner, what are your thoughts?
Overall, I think it looks promising just from the clip. I had no idea what to really expect, but I think that it overall looks smooth, and if there's any problems, they'll probably iron them out. I agree with basically. I'm kind of on Orbit GX. I've never been more excited for something Sonic for quite a long time, but I really think that if this did do well, they might want to consider actually integrating the games full time with it if it do well, because they really need to invent Sonic's brand. I mean, while he's existed for 23 years, a lot of those 23 years are very mixed and, or as you said, the butted jokes, so I wouldn't exactly consider it a harmful move. But overall, I think this cartoon's going to be good for Sonic as a brand because it's going to attract a much wider demographic than the games.
I think what this can do is like what Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and what Sonic X did, which was bring in a whole new generation of fans from the previous generation. I think this might actually be the start of the third generation of fans for Sonic.
Personally, I'm wondering if they're going to make some kind of Archie comic adaptation of this. I think that I would
not be surprised at all if they decide to snatch that up. I mean, they did. Honestly, the Archie interpretation of Sonic X is my favorite portions of Sonic X.
Yeah,
that's true.
They did better Sonic X than the actual Sonic X, which is rare for a licensed comic book. And I think that the character designs would actually look a lot better in a comic with nice hand-drawn art instead of the CGI stuff. So
I don't know. I saw that CGI cover of the Archie characters. I don't know. It makes if there was anything that ever wanted me to have, if there was any motivation for me to want an Archie-based game, it was that CGI cover.
So let's get on to the video game itself.
Yeah, the video game.
What do people think about that? I think I'm going to go last on this.
I think
I'm more, Go ahead.
Tanner, what are your thoughts on the video game?
The only person who didn't speak up.
Like I said, I think it's also a good idea for expanding the brand because it looks like it's going to be party-themed. It reminds me an awful lot of Ratchet & Clank All for One, which, as I recall, doesn't go over too well with that fan base, but it was very well received by wider audiences because it was possible for people to play it as a group. So even if you weren't that into Ratchet & Clank, you would still be able to play it, and I think
but a lot of the criticisms of that game were basically all the technical limitations and technical errors of it. A lot of people who liked it, were just upset because it took a long time to kind of get things together and blah, blah, blah.
So you're saying, Tanner?
Sorry. My fault.
No problem. Yeah, and I think that will really help with wider audience appeal and getting people who are just casual gamers to be able to play it, or even people who aren't gamers. Like if little kids get it, their parents could play it. Overall, I think it will really succeed in bringing a lot of people. What really made me excited was the trailer, looked good enough on its own, but when I found out that the team that was making it, has worked on all these other Sony games, then I was like, yes, I think this is the best decision Sega has ever made. They're giving a Sega game to somebody who's not Sonic Team, which is always hit or miss with their games.
Personally, I don't know. It's hard for me to really glean much from the trailer because everything goes by so quickly. But I do like what I've seen. It looks like a weird cross between Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure, and finally we have a new Sonic game, a new console Sonic game that lets you play as Knuckles and Tails again. Though I get the feeling that Knuckles won't be gliding anymore, which will disappoint me. But what are you gonna do? But I don't know. It looks fun, at least, and it looks like a nice kind of Sonic Adventure styled game, which is something I've been wanting for a long time. And maybe the closest, maybe the closest that Sega will get to fulfilling my Sonic Adventure 3 prediction. Actually, I'll take that. I'll consider that 50% of what I predicted. I was half right. Jason, what do you think?
I'm not 100% sold on it right now. For some reason, the characters themselves look almost claymation compared to the environment they're in. The environment looks a lot more real than they do. And the gameplay, it's hard to judge what kind of game it is. You got brawling, you got parts where they're just jumping around and swinging on things, and then there's what looks like auto-run sections where all four of them are running just as fast as Sonic at the same time. And they got that whole dubstep and everything, and it's really hard to peg what the game's going to be like, and so far it just looks very unappealing to me.
Aside from that, I agree with most of what you said regarding it's hard to really tell what the game's going to be like, because everything in that trailer goes by so quickly. It doesn't really sustain any one shot for more than a couple seconds, and so while it shows you all these cool things happening, you don't really know what the context is.
Yeah, the caliber of the development team working on it is really good, and especially the 3DS one has Sanzaru, which is awesome. Sly Cooper 4 guys, so that gives me quite a bit of hope. But I don't know, I wasn't totally sold on the trailer.
Of course, to be...
Honestly, my interpretation of that was between the credentials of the developers and the style of how this trailer was cut. It kind of gives me a feeling that you may be doing a lot of different things in this game. Like, in any given Sly game, you could be controlling things. They might just throw in one segment where you just have this one control style and then you shift to something else. Same thing with Ratchet and Clank. They usually have these sequences where you just may participate in this one type of gameplay activity for a while and then it's never brought up again, or it's brought up in short bursts or something. So my interpretation was just kind of, this might just have a bunch of small pieces where you'll be doing a lot of varied things.
Yeah, it does look interesting that we'll finally get a Sonic game again where you'll be able to play as, Tails and Amy and Knuckles
I hope
separately. But I think what it is they're going to be all working as a team, and you'll be playing them either simultaneously together and then on separate missions for certain occasions. From what it looks
don't make me think of Sonic Heroes.
Sonic Heroes. I forgot the rest, but... But one thing we need to keep in mind is that while we know that these people came from Naughty Dog, we don't actually know what they did at Naughty Dog. I mean, like, I've heard of these... Yeah. I've seen these movie trailers, like, say, from the executive producers of this really awesome movie comes this complete piece of crap. So,
we know one of them is Chris
Sen, yes. But
Chris Sen from the Sega Technical Institute.
He's not from Naughty Dog, but yeah, Chris Sen. And that
who worked on Sonic
Extreme. we'll actually be we'll actually be talking to him later this year. I think we'll be talking to him this summer. I actually need to get back to him again, let him know that we're still on for that interview he agreed to. But we should probably see if maybe we can talk to him about this game a bit.
Yeah, well, I hope I can get an interview with the development team since they're LA based, out here.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be really great. Hell, and we should discuss.
And I would absolutely love to have them at the Sonic Revolution in June.
So,
if that's possible.
Anyway, so we got everybody's thoughts on that, right?
Next up, mine.
Oh, GX and Sega, speak.
Why don't you let Sega go first?
Sega, go first. I command you.
Alright. More or less what I said about the cartoon, I kind of think that, or I was hoping that when they said they were rebooting Sonic, well, not rebooting Sonic, but like trying to reinvent Sonic with Lost World, I think this is better from, I don't know, Lost World to me didn't feel like, it felt like a half-hearted reinvention. This to me feels more like, it looks like this is, I don't know how to describe it exactly. It looks like a modern platformer with Sonic, and it kind of reminds me of, Sonic Adventure in that sense. So I'm not as negative as a lot of the commenters on Sega Bits currently seem to be
they've
about
been
it.
negative about a lot of Sonic stuff, for better or for worse.
The internet.
I didn't care much,
it's going to be negative.
Yeah.
I didn't care much for Lost World, so to me, I'm more excited about this, honestly. But it could go either way, for sure, but I'm just excited to see, an actual bold step in a direction for the series. So I'm definitely eager to see how it turns out.
Okay, and GX. Last up,
I'm gonna wax a bit romantic here for a second. That one of the things that always keeps me with Sonic, now that I'm a little bit less open to the whole nostalgia thing, is the fact that, when you get into the games, you really aren't going to have a super strong idea about what you're going to get out of them. One of the things you can't peg Sonic Team, Sega, or anything is just having blatant repetition in between games.
That's true.
They have absolutely mixed up mechanics, tried different things. Even if not all of them turn out fantastic,
giving Shadow a gun.
You can at least call them interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing they got over Mario is you're not going to get the same game. You're not going to get the same
one thing Mario
experience.
has over Sonic is consistent quality, so
that is true.
I'm not sure how much of a merit that is.
Also, more money to throw at it.
Opportunity cost.
Yes, but I'm at the very least excited because, as I've said for a long time, I've definitely wanted to see what Sonic looks like and feels like in the hands of a Western developer.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that.
Here is my wish list of the three Sonic games I want to see. I want to see Sonic in the hands of a Western developer. I want to see a cel-shaded Sonic game, like real cel-shaded, and a real
Sure.
Sonic game. So not like Sonic 4 or Sonic Shuffle or whatever.
Sonic Dash.
Is Sonic Dash cel-shaded?
No, I meant
okay.
you don't.
Are you just giving an
Yes.
example? Okay. But and the final thing is Sonic game by Way Forward.
Oh, that would be glorious. That would be so glorious.
I would love that game.
I was thinking the exact same thing as far as a portable. If Way Forward we did a 2D Sonic, that would just be awesome.
Let's just have Way Forward make all portable games from now on.
Yeah.
All licensed games too.
Let's just expand them. Give them 2,000 employees, have them buy out all the other mobile developers, and then they can just spend all their time making loads of awesome 3DS games.
Or building up Shovel Knight more and more. But I'm very optimistic about it. It looks like a kind of game that I really enjoy. Whether or not that will completely play out, who's to say? It is Sega. You really don't know what you're going to get, and whenever it releases, it's going to be super divisive because it is Sonic. But I'm excited to see something different. I'm excited to see another interpretation of Sonic, and I'm excited to see that interpretation of Sonic being taken with a bit more seriousness.
You really gotta stop saying you're excited, because it's starting to scare me a little bit. This is the first time you've ever been more excited for a Sonic game for a Sonic thing than I am. 'Cause I'm usually the blindly optimistic one.
Yeah, it's not that I'm blindly optimistic.
I'm not calling you
there
blindly
are a ton
optimistic.
of pitfalls.
I think the fact that you think this is so exciting is actually really, really interesting. Speaks very well to the potential of the game. I'm surprised.
No, honestly, I don't think it speaks to the potential of the game. I think it just speaks to the current state of the Sonic franchise and where it's at. It's like, I can't think of the last time that I was really super excited for a Mario game except for, like, Sticker Star, and that really let me down.
Yeah, it was boring.
It sucked.
But it was, well, I don't want to turn this into a Sticker Star discussion, but let's just say it is so white bread Mario, and I'm sick of white bread Mario. I want them to mix things up. I want them to I want Mario to take the universe that they currently have, take the art styles that they currently have and everything, and all the enemies that they built up and all the repeating characters that they built up, and just shake the ever-loving crap out of it like they did with Sonic, with this. I can't say that I appreciate all versions of this. Like, I despise what they did with Pac-Man. Like, I cannot stand this current version of Pac-Man. But for some reason, this fills me with a little bit more faith because they did show a much more promising teaser to it. I think the game itself looks a lot more interesting, and I think they are putting a lot more. I don't want to jump too many conclusions, but I think that there is at least more talent put towards this.
Yeah, I mean, Pac-Man. Both Jason and I, we could tell that was going to be shit the moment we saw the trailer at E3. It was just, we knew it was just going to be.
Oh, that
bad.
teaser for that was just. It made me nauseous. It was the worst possible humor ever.
Is that show still going? Pac-Man?
Yeah.
It's apparently very popular.
Oh, god damn it, kids.
God only knows why.
I did end up picking up the game because it was so dirt cheap.
I heard
the
it was okay, the game.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just a mediocre, very average platformer. It gets better in the later levels, but the early levels are just very bland. Kind of like Knack.
So, I feel like moving on to some other random points of discussion. Once you're done, GX.
I like this.
Once you're done.
Yes. I just wanted to wind up with saying I think the thing I like best about this right now is that they are keeping it simple as far as I can tell. Like, I'm not going to be the person that says, hey, kill off all the characters. My philosophy has always been, hey, you know what? Keep the characters, but kind of delegate them to non-speaking support roles, just kind of universe fillers. You just keep them around for fun, but use them to make sure that we're not in this world of humans and that Sonic's existence is a bit more plausible. But in this case, the fact that we're really only working with the core 4 right now, and that's really all they're showing off, I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, the 4 that they've chosen to stick with, aside from them being the core 4 characters, they are pretty good core archetypes that seem like they would work well together.
Of course. Go on.
All right, I'm just gonna say this really quick. Like, my overall thoughts are that it could totally go either way. Like, whenever this comes out, we could be on here talking about like how it's like the worst game ever. But but I also think that, like, to me, it's just like to try something new and not be stuck in the same rut of like Sonic trying to be Mario. Like, that doesn't really interest me that much, but something else entirely like this totally does. So I think they should try it and see how it goes, and then, if it's good, that would be awesome.
I wonder if they're going to introduce some of Sonic's other friends into this television series. It's 52 episodes, so they could totally have an episode with Shadow the Hedgehog in it.
I
Only
love
one.
Only if he's wearing that Hawaiian shirt like the original rumor was going.
Oh, God.
That would have been awesome.
Only one character shall be reintroduced. Ray the Squirrel.
Well, you at least need Mighty the Armadillo, too.
Nope, just Ray. Just
Or
Ray.
Blaze the Cat.
Nope, just Ray.
Okay, well, we at least need the Chaotix.
Just
But
Ray.
I think that it would be...
Just Ray.
I'd definitely be interested in seeing
Just
what they
Ray
do
the
with the...
flying squirrel.
With the other Sonic characters, especially Shadow, who was born into a really was born when the series was really serious and dramatic.
I would love them to riff the crap on Shadow. Like I would absolutely someone other than the internet just needs to take him down a peg so that we don't have to take him seriously. Or that we can take him as not seriously as we all want to.
I don't know if I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Abridged, but what they do with Vegeta, I'd love to see them do that with Shadow the Hedgehog, where they take this really serious character and they give him all these weird and quirks, and I don't know. I'm horrible at describing this stuff. And
anyway, we have a little bit more Sonic news to go on, but for right now, I want to intercept my Mike Pollock interview, the voice of Dr. Eggman, and he's going to talk a little bit about Sonic Boom and the whatnot. And so I think you guys will enjoy that.
I presume you mean the Sonic CD song.
No, not the Sonic CD
cartoon,
song.
of
We're
course.
going to run...
And he's going to talk about how he's going to be one of the It's Bacon dogs from Bacon Strips. Anyway, we'll be right back.
It all ends here, old friend. Prepare to be destroyed by Burnbot.
So what, he's gonna burn me with flamethrowers or something?
Flamethrower? No.
Oh, acid? Incendiary grenades?
No. The claws. Yes, claws. Very painful claws.
Well, then you should have called him Clawbot or Delacerator or Pinchatron 9000, but Burnbot. I mean, that's just false advertising.
I named the robot Sonic. Burnbot.
Hello, everyone, and this is the interview portion of the show. Thanks for not skipping up all the rest and just getting straight to here. All right, and I'm here with Mike Pollock, who everyone here, I imagine, knows as Dr. Eggman, among other voices such as Ella the Maid or the Mayor and several other characters from Kirby Right Back at You. How you doing, Mike?
So far, so good, but the day is young.
All right. Congratulations on being the longest-running Sonic character voice actor to date with about 10 years of being Dr. Eggman. When you first got the part, did you have to audition for with Sega or for kids?
It was there are actually two answers to that. The first time I auditioned for 4 kids who submitted the audition over to Sega, and then the second time around when they were recasting the program, I auditioned directly for Sega.
Alrighty. When you did Eggman for the first time, was it in a game or for Sonic X?
First time was for Sonic X.
Okay. Did you look at previous voices of Dr. Eggman for inspiration?
They gave me clips of Dean Bristow to listen to, and I tried to do my best Dean Bristow impression.
Alrighty. What made you decide to become a voice actor?
As a kid, I was always watching cartoons and listening to the radio and listening to the people that did wacky voices on cartoons and on the radio. And I also had children's records based on the soundtracks of the cartoons. And I just listened and realized I could do that. And eventually, after a little time in the radio world, radio decided it had enough of me, and I concentrated on voice acting in cartoons and commercials and other stuff.
Alrighty. Eggman got a small role in the Disney movie Wreck-It Ralph last year. However, he didn't have any lines at all that I know of. That might have been on the, cutting room floor. I'm not sure. Does it make you miffed at all that not being able to add Disney to your resume?
from what I understand, not having seen the film and having no intention of seeing the film, he spoke as part of a crowd, so the voice was not identifiable. So apparently, there was no need for me to be involved, and that turned out to be a little awkward. So sure, I'd love to work. I loved working just in general, and working on some type of big name project would be even better than that. Apparently can't always happen.
Right. Speaking of movie roles, with certain domains being bought up by Sony, such as sonicthemovie.com, is there a chance we may be hearing your voice on the big screen soon?
Anything's possible, but I'm just a talent. They don't tell me anything.
Okay. Besides Eggman, you've been the voices of Ella the Maid, the Mayor in Kirby Right Back At Ya, and Meat from Ultimate Muscle, among others. There are many voices you've done that... are there any voices you've done that might surprise Sonic fans?
There is some that I would find surprising. I played a plush animated cat villain in a web video for Pop Chips alongside Katy Perry. I've done commercials for the Scotty Vest brand of gadget-enabled vest that I wear all the time. I will be apparently upcoming as the sound-alike for the voice of the Beggin' Strips dog in a web video. So all sorts of stuff. I'm constantly working. Most people probably would be surprised that I've done narrated audiobooks on physics and Nazis.
Wow. I know my little chihuahua loves Beggin' Strips. All right. Of all the previous 4 kids Sonic voice actors, you were the only one kept over from the before. Was it a case of Sega being so happy with your performance they kept you on, or something to do with like the other actors' contracts? I honestly can't imagine anyone else as Eggman right now.
I didn't ask for specific details because it's not really any of my business. I'm just happy to be working.
Righty.
But I know there was no specifics about the contract. It's we are freelance independent contractors, and we work at the will of the client. So if the client is interested in changing things around, we have no say in the matter. So I'm delighted to have been asked to re-audition, and I'm even more delighted that I was recast.
All right, wonderful. What's the oddest thing about voice acting in a video game over a cartoon?
Video games, the storylines tend to be a little less linear. There's no real beginning, middle, and end. The cutscenes kind of have some plot to them, but otherwise the rest of the game is a lot of random exertion noises and grunting noises and a lot of things that can go in different directions. So it's hard to keep a linear idea of a story in your head.
Okay, of all the Sonic games, which one has your favorite script? For instance, mine is Colors because of all those hilarious PAs Dr. Eggman did.
Probably a tie between Colors and Generations. Both of them were very cleverly written.
Yeah, Ken Pontiac, he's pretty good at the writing.
Mm-hmm.
You've played Eggman for about 10 years now. What do you think it is about his character that keeps him motivated to keep trying to take over the world despite always being set back by Sonic? Do you think he gets some kind of enjoyment out of it, or is it something else?
From a practical point, it keeps the storyline going, and that keeps him employed.
Right. You said, jokingly, I think, that you were the understudy for the voice of Amy Rose in Sonic Boom. That was in a little post on Sonic Stadium. Is there any truth to that, or are you just being silly?
I was just being silly. Cartoons tend not to have understudies.
Speaking of, I know there's some Sonic fans that are worried that the 11-minute episodes of Sonic Boom will be too focused on being goofy comedy, which personally I prefer, over action, and are also worried about the character designs. Is there anything you can say to calm their nerves?
If you think about it as a classic sitcom, and you realize that I've been laughing almost constantly when I've been recording, I think it'll be great fun. But you have to kind of... It would help, I guess, to share my sense of humor, and you can't please everyone.
Right, that's true. This episode of Sonic Talk is mainly about looking towards 2014. Is there anything you are really looking forward to this year?
Sonic Boom is going to be huge in the fall of 2014. Other stuff, Sonic-related stuff that has not been announced, I cannot disclose because I'm just a talent. But since Sonic Boom has been announced, I will shout from the rooftops, you should watch it. At least sample it once. You're welcome to hate it. This is a free country. It's a free world. So you're welcome to hate it, but don't hate it before you've at least seen an episode. That's not fair.
That is true, and I'm certainly looking forward to it myself. Okay, thank you so much for your time, Mike. I appreciate, all the time you had for me, especially with all the annoying emails back and forth that I've been giving you this past week.
Not a problem. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. Okay.
Sure.
And you have a great afternoon.
Likewise, I'm sure.
The story begins with who's gonna win, knowing the danger that lies within. A boy, the arc, a genius at heart, wanting to unlock the mysteries of life. I am the Eggman, that's what I am. I am the Eggman, I got the master plan. I am the Eggman, that's what I am. I am the Eggman, with the master plan. I'm plotting my schemes wherever I go. They're perfect in every way.
Hey folks, thanks for staying on to the podcast for this second half. We have so far the best audio we've had so far because we're doing this on Audacity instead of Skype. So of course it sounds a lot better, but of course we can't have a Sonic Talk without somebody making a mistake or something bad happen. In this case, I made a goof up when I was editing this podcast and erased my second half of the audio. Just me, but not the rest. So what you're gonna hear in the second half is Alex and GX and Tanner and Sega all talking, but you won't hear me at all. There was moments of silence where I was, of course, talking, and I just cut all those off. So you will hear topics that are suddenly veer off course onto something else real quick, and that's because I was pushing the topic onto the next area. So, for instance, I bring up the sign at Jazzware's booth at the Toy Fair last month, and so they immediately start talking about that sign and wondering where the heck that came from. That's from that. And also they start complaining about Zaz, the boss from Sonic Dash, and that's because I was mentioning the huge Japanese Sonic Dash S update to Sonic Dash. It's only in Japan so far. And other than that, it flows together really well, and I hope you enjoy.
All right, and we're back. I hope you enjoyed that interview. I personally haven't listened to it myself, so once I do listen to it, it's going to be as big a surprise to me as it's going to be for you guys.
Way to keep the illusion, man.
Mike Pollock is a righteous dude.
That guy is a stand-up guy.
We always appreciate having
one
guests
interesting,
on.
He's the.
I guess never mind. One interesting aspect of today's announcement is that Tony will be handling the toys for Sonic Boom, which is surprising because Jazzwares is also handling the toys for the Sonic franchise. Meaning that it seems that Sonic Boom and the regular Sonic franchise are two different licenses.
We've got a feud going on.
That's one thing that kind of has me worried.
Yeah, that's a little worrying.
I'm not much of a toy guy, so can anyone explain to me is there any notable differences between Tomy and Jazzwares, like quality or whatever?
Jazzwares is not well known for their quality. I am going to point out the possible irony that it is very possible that the series in which people are touting does not have as good character design, will probably have better designed action figures.
Wait. A Japanese toy company is handling a Western-only Sonic part of the franchise.
Remember, this is Sega we're working with. If it wasn't, there had to be at least something here convoluted and nonsensical, and they had to fit it in somewhere. They just decided to do it with the marketing and the extensions and the product placement, or not product placement, but products.
Now, Anyone else have anything to say about Tomy and Jazzware?
I don't know.
Tanner and Sega. Okay, so now there are actually some additional details that we haven't discussed regarding the shows and the TV series. For instance, the game is going to center on an adventure in an ancient land. There's going to be lots of exploration and melee combat. And
that has me worried.
And will also include high-speed traversal. And perhaps the biggest surprise it's going to be similar in structure to Sonic Adventure in that it'll feature a main hub and missions branching off of the main hub. And so this will be the first Sonic game to do that since like Unleashed back in 2008.
Yeah, like I said, try new shit, and if it works, it works. I definitely encourage them to try stuff, and we all loved Sonic
I don't know
Adventure.
If we call this new.
Well, not new, but new for where the series has been recently, which has been firmly nostalgic.
Well, again, it is referring back to Sonic Adventure, which is nostalgic.
In a way, but Sonic Adventure didn't have 4 characters at once, or whatever this is doing. I don't know.
To me, it's still a bit different, because this sounds like, and based on the trailer, it sounds like a straight-up action-adventure game, as opposed to, even Sonic Adventure was still much more of a platformer, much more of a straight beginning-to-finish game. This sounds a bit more branching than that.
Which would be cool, I think.
I am in favor of it. Like, I want to see this. I enjoy this type of game whenever Sony made them again and again, and I would love to see another franchise try to take this up.
But one interesting... go on, Sega.
I was just going to say, I think it was actually, Shady pointed it out, that Sega would have had to approve that signage, whether, you know what I mean? Like, whether it was... It's definitely real, because Sega had to approve that signage, whether we were supposed to see it yet or not. So that was approved, and that was... They didn't make it up. Like, it's a real thing, for sure.
I don't know if Sega necessarily approves something... If Sega would necessarily need to approve something like that, because it didn't... I don't know, it looked like a sign that they printed out and stuck in front of their toy collections. I wouldn't be surprised if...
Some showgoer just brought that with them and set it up in front of the booth.
I'm not saying that they made it up.
Making it up would be very unprofessional. Yeah, I mean, they were obviously told to...
I don't think that they made it up. It's just I think that Sega didn't... If Sega... I don't think that Sega was overseeing the signage, but I think that Jazzwares knows about it. They accidentally leaked it, but Sega won't confirm it. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
I think could be bad. I feel like, though, like a movie, like I think the humor can sustain the games, and maybe a TV series. A movie, I think, might be stretching it, but who knows? I don't know.
Depends on how they approach it. I mean, there's always ways to facilitate that, depending on what kind of perspective they take and what kind of tone they take. But I mean, I think it could work. I think that they would have to really get some good some good side arcs going, or at least have a good... They have to... Here's what they need to accomplish most of all with this series, is they need to make these characters, which Sonic has not really been a...
Not Sonic X. Not like Sonic X.
Well, Sonic X has its own share of problems, but Sonic in general just has not been a character since Jaleel White voiced him.
Yeah, I mean, like Sonic X. The reason why I brought that up is because Sonic didn't really have a character in Sonic X. He was just the Deus Ex Machina who'd show up and blow things up. And then we'd go back to Chris and his stupid little boy problems. But, Tanner, you're not going to sit out this conversation that easily. Do you have anything to say?
About the movies?
Yeah. Well, about the whole conversation, about the... Yeah, I guess about the potential of the movie.
What do you have to say about the original OVA anime movie?
GX, that movie was stupid. Stop bringing it up.
It was stupid. It was fantastic.
I didn't ever really saw anything special on it, but, if people like it, then more power to them. That's always, whatever makes you happy. But with regards to these new movies, while what Jason says indicates that, it probably is just something direct to video, nothing big, at the same time, the fact Sony's involved with it is what raises my eyebrow, given that, they have 3 confirmed movies, 2 with trailers already, so, for all we know, they might be trying to basically go the route of Disney, but with video game movies, and trying to really push that.
3 confirmed movies? I know about Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank, but what's the third one?
Yeah, Heavenly Sword, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hope that doesn't suck. I hope they're all spectacular movies.
That's actually... it's very possible that they might have if they do make a big movie, they would have gotten someone else for more name recognition. That's sounds like basically that's what Kevin Miller, the voice of Sly Cooper, said that he thinks is happening with that movie.
Are they replacing him?
Just for the movie, at least as far as we get. They gave him they were courteous enough to give him a call and said that, hey, we're making a Sly Cooper movie, you're not going to, unfortunately.
You can't do that!
Yeah.
No!
But,
So let me get this straight. The turtle gets to keep his voice. The turtle gets to keep his annoying, grating voice, but they replace Sly.
Hey, don't you start bad-mouthing Bentley. I love Bentley's
Bentley
voice.
is an annoying voice.
I love his voice. It is annoying, but that doesn't make it less good.
It worked in the games, but in the movie, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Shut up.
No.
Ugh.
Screw you, Bentley.
But, Kevin Miller, in his podcast, he gave the story about how he will not... it's not final, but he said that he thinks they're looking for someone who's going to be more of a big-name actor who could draw more people to the franchise.
Nobody cares, though. Nobody's going to see that movie for a big-name actor.
Once you finish talking, I'm going to bitch about that, but finish talking, please.
But he said that, he's a Sly Cooper fan himself, so, he understands if, they think it'll help it sell better, because he thinks that, he said that, be optimistic. The trend is if a movie does well, an animated series can spin off from it, so, he might get work in that if that spins off. So, back on the topic of the Sonic movie, it's very possible that they might have gotten someone more big name than Mike Pollock and Roger to do the lead roles, so that would explain that.
Yeah, that's something about today's animated movies that really pisses me off. They don't give work to actual trained, talented voice actors. They go for celebrities who so often will just phone it in because they have the big names. And they think that big names draw ticket sales to movies, which they don't really draw ticket sales to live action movies anymore, and they definitely don't draw ticket sales for animated movies anymore. Like Megamind, they advertise that as Pitt versus Pitt versus who voiced Megamind? Pitt versus Farrell, and it's like that's such a stupid way to advertise your movie, especially when they only fought for like the first 15 minutes. No one cares if a voice is in a movie. When it comes to animation, they care about the script, the stories, the characters, other things.
Or if they keeps their child occupied for an hour and a half.
Yeah, or that. They don't care if freaking Brad Pitt is in it. Because you just gotta hear his voice, and if he's a good voice actor, will even sound like him.
But how else will we keep Ray Romano off the streets?
Well, we could always send him to an island.
There you go.
I only played... I encountered Zaz once as in the boss battle, and I guess I stopped playing Sonic Dash. Of course, I also got bored with the game, but...
Yeah, at this point when
such awful characters, such awful characters. I'd love to see them appearing as one episode of Sonic Boom, and just I don't know, just see how the writers make screw with them.
At this point, when I play Sonic Dash, I've actually started to dread hearing the Deadly Six theme at this point, which is kind of sad because I always thought
damn it, I can't remember it.
I always thought it was a kind. Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I hate that theme now because of that game.
Can we just have the completely subversive Sonic cartoon that is willing to take the crap out of all the stupid stuff in the series over the past 2.5 decades?
God. That would have to be written by Ian Flynn, and yes.
Ian, get on it. Wedge yourself
Ian,
into
please.
France.
I will give you all of my money. All of it. All right, well, there's just one more thing I want to discuss, and then we're done, and that's the tone of this series, which, when you guys first heard that what this series was going to be, what were you expecting?
I think I already said, like, Teen Titans Go. I know one of the first... the big introductory thing was that, like, one of the first big introductions of the series was that it was at a My Little Pony convention. There were the discussions of, I guess, one of the writers is going to be one of the writers of this show, and... In all honesty, what I was kind of expecting was something a little bit more, based on what they described, a little bit more low-budget not Flash style, but Vector style animation, a bit more cartoony than they showed off. But I think that they might have some good adventure elements, but I think that I would be very happy if they played a lot of it up to laughs. Like, I loved the direction I love the idea of the direction that they want to take, and I will still hold Sonic Unleashed for as kind of like the for as much as I don't like the Werehog choice necessarily. I really like the tone of that game. Like that game has a better story than I think it's given credit for.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people were complaining about Chip, but I thought that Chip was actually probably the best of the
Chip brought
Sonic
out
partner
more
supporting
character in
characters that
Sonic
they've had.
than you usually have.
Yeah.
If only that game had the new voice actors. Like I said, I really did love. We were stuck with 4 kids still, but I did really like that story in that game. I thought it was awesome.
That's why all the best ones with him are the ones in which they don't talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 3 silent picks, those were
And the
great.
mini-movie.
But you know, Amy Rose was actually tolerable in that. Tails was tolerable. But, I was expecting something very comedy-driven, and then, of course, we got 2 synopses. One, I already talked about one where Robotnik takes Sonic to court. And then there's another one where Sonic fires Tails as his sidekick, and Eggman applies.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Like, that just stands in complete... That is just complete opposite to the tone of the teaser that we got, which is very action-packed and adventure-y. And then we have Sonic firing Tails as his partners, like... I guess can't imagine what the tone of this series is.
I'm waiting for the episode where we're introduced to Robotnik's mother. I'm waiting for the episode where we get to meet his brother from a parallel universe, or where his brother was shoved into a parallel universe, and they decide to fight with fish. And if there is no scratchy voiced bird in this, I will be fairly disappointed.
So, Tanner, what are your thoughts on the show's tone?
Well, when I first heard about the show, I was I was cautiously optimistic because I'm used to Sega sometimes disappointing, but then I saw the trailer today, and I was actually fairly impressed. I was like, hey, this actually looks pretty cool. I might actually.
Sonic cartoons are always true to the source material. Always.
Yes, especially Satan. Shut up, Sega fanboys.
I mean, but overall, I would say I'm really looking forward to it, especially if there's plots like that, because, it sounds like we'll have some action plots that for some episodes, but then other episodes, the plot will just be absurd, like that, Eggman as the sidekick one, I think it'll be really entertaining, because you really won't know what to expect at times.
And Shadow, you may not even watch. I mean, sorry, Ben. Force of habit, Ben.
Yeah.
You may not even watch the series, but what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, like, I liked what I saw of Sonic X, but I just was too lazy to get up early, so I never watched it. It might be the same with this, but no.
Watch
honestly,
the second season. The second season's when it really picks up.
Yeah, especially when we get to the Sonic Battle arc, where we have Chris fight.
No, the second season.
Yeah, second. Oh,
the
you mean
second
the third
season.
The third season takes place in space.
Whatever, I don't care.
Oh, sounds crazy. All right, but anyway, no. The animation of this thing, whatever this is, like Knuckles, I will admit that it looks better than I feared that it would, because I'm hand drawn more than CG. I definitely prefer hand drawn.
Yeah,
so I was a little, especially in cartoon series, like CG kind of to me looks really, really bad. But this actually looks okay. It looks good. The tone, it looks like the games. It looks pretty corny and cheesy and whatever. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to tolerate it for a half hour at a time. But I'm not making.
Actually, it's only 11 minutes. Only 11.
Oh, really?
Minutes. Yeah.
It could. I don't know. I'll reserve judge. I'm not sure what I think of it, to be honest.
Have you seen the new Ninja Turtles?
Judgment. No, I don't watch it. It looks bad.
Whatever the current CG one is, that is not.
It looks bad to me.
Horrific looking.
Yeah, I can't stand that type of CG animation.
And Sega believes that most animated CG cartoons look like Final Fantasy VII CGI.
Yeah, they do. Except, I would say they look worse. I
completely and violently disagree with that assertion. I think most people would, but
Final Fantasy's had better CG since '97 than almost any CG animated show on television right now, as far as look goes.
I'll give you that about the people in that show. That crew can't animate people worth crap, but they do good turtles.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
I keep hearing that that's a good series.
It is a good series.
I'm still kind of pissed that they canceled the. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but that they canceled the 4Kids version, which was surprisingly good.
You mean after 4Kids basically sold themselves and kind of went under? I guess that's a good reason to cancel it.
I don't know. I'm just I wasn't following it closely enough to know the circumstances of the cancellation. I guess know that they canceled it on a bit of a cliffhanger. Anyway,
and we're familiar with that.
In summary, watch the CG Ninja Turtles. It is good.
Yeah, I'll try to sit through it. Well, from here, I'm either going to start talking about Space Dandy, because I consider that regular show in space.
Which I really don't. And you probably should watch Space Dandy.
Space Dandy gets really... Space Dandy is a show that, like, the first half of the episode, I mean, it takes place in space, but, like, the first half is typically, I don't know, it's like, it can be a little mundane, a little boring, a little slow.
You get the sense of who the characters are.
Crazy.
You get the sense of who the characters are, but what actually happens in the plot doesn't really matter because it's all going to go to hell by the end of it. And
like in half of these episodes, the characters die at the end. The zombie one's probably the best.
It is the best zombie story I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. I won't. I can't. We can't talk about that. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But it takes an interesting turn. Anyway, we really should probably end this because now we're just pretty much wasting time.
As the audience is saying, "Oh God, are they still going?"
There's no audience.
Go watch Space Dandy every Saturday night, 11:30 on Adult Swim and Toonami.
And Ninja Turtles.
And, go to Sega Bix and Ninja Turtles, I guess. Go to Sega Bix and read Shadow Legends. Ben's editorial.
Yeah.
Sonic Lost Identity: Why Sonic Should Branch Out, but Why He Should Remain True to Himself, which is a very good article.
Oh, thank you, Knuckles.
I was hoping that you'd bring it up in this discussion a bit.
That sounds like some lyrics in a Crush 40 song.
Shut up.
No, fuck that. All right, continue, Knuckles.
And also check out the Sega Bix. Check out Segalization, a Sega website that recently partnered with Sega Bix and is pushing for the localization of many currently Japanese only Sega titles.
If you are by any chance ever interested in meeting up with fellow Sonic fans in your area, finding them, or getting some sort of event going, then definitely check out Sonic Revolution's website, sonic-revolution.net. We have a list of all upcoming events that I know of across the world. Currently, we have like chapters in 26 U.S. states. There's a bunch of meetups going on in Southwest England right now. And overall, just if you'd ever want to meet up with any fans or just get involved in any way, then definitely check out that site, sonic-revolution.net.
All right, so that's it.
And
so,
I get to plug things too because I'm also.
Oh God
a guest.
damn it, GX! You're not a guest.
I'm enough of a guest. Check out the Spin Dash, thespindash.com. It's kind of dormant right now. I also want to use this as a podium to say, hey, it is dormant, and one of the big reasons is we are kind of in a state of transition. At least two of the other hosts on this cast know what I'm trying to aim for and what my aspirations
you're
for.
You're going to try to do something cool.
I am going to try to do something very cool. Keep an eye out soon enough. I will have more to announce once I have more to announce, but aside from that, check out Horsepower Comics over at emeraldcoastcomics.net. It is continuously running My Little Pony webcomics that are maybe not necessarily what you would expect. Good, in other words. And
he's not your typical brony, folks.
no, I'm not. I'm basically the self-hating Jew of bronies. No, I don't even like that word brony. Oh God.
You are a brony, man. Embrace it.
I will not embrace it, and I will not self-refer, but I'm not going to freak out about it.
Darn.
But otherwise, just check out cool things and check out Sega Bits, and I'm hoping to do things and stuff. Stay tuned for more.
That's going to do it for us, folks. This is the big 25th episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'd also like to wish our home website of Sega Bits a happy 4th anniversary.
They said it would never last.
It's been around for 4 years now. So that's all, folks. We'll see you again in 3 months, probably.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace, guys.
See ya.
Shouts to all my boss boys. Shouts to all my boss boys. We rowdy. Shouts to all my boss boys. Shouts to all my boss boys. We rowdy. Shouts to all my boss boys. Shouts to all my boss boys. We rowdy. Shouts to all my boss boys. Shouts to all my boss boys. When you're ready, bass. When you're ready, Shouts to all my boss boys, we rowdy. Shouts to all my boss boys. Shouts to all my boss boys.